Well, I know that I keep on being a little bit more delayed in the releases of these episodes. Sorry about that. Just a lot of busy stuff going on this time of year for your boy because, a lot of stuff just whenever it comes to school and all that, So hopefully I can get back on the right track whenever it comes to consistency. But right now, we are just going to have some fun and talk about the Titans free agent signing. So, anyway, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey. And if you can tell, yeah, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but trust me, my voice should be back to normal soon. So, just want to let y'all know that. But in this week's episode, we are going to be ranking every Titans free agency signing from worst to best. Only the big ones, though. Like the ones that, are probably that might end up starting in a couple of in week one, right? Like those types of guys, or like one. And I put one two major depth pieces here. But outside of that, like it is just like the dudes that I think are going to start and are okay, there's one that is kind of a depth piece, but he's kind of in and out with another dude, like Daniel Bellinger. I mean, I don't think I'm spoiling anything with that. And I'll put in one trade with this because even though it was a trade, it felt a lot like a free agency signing for some reason. So anyway, let's get into this. Starting out with one honorable mention. Oh, wait, hold on. No, hold on. Whoa, Micah. Whoa, calm down. Before we get into this, we got to talk about the Titans' new jerseys. Look, okay, they're very similar to the Houston Oilers ones. I won't deny that in the slightest, right? But what I will deny is the fact that the Houston Texans need to have those jerseys. That is the most idiotic argument I think I have ever seen. Look, okay, does the Texans history do the Texans, like, technically were the Oilers in Houston? Yes, they were, right? But that is our history. That is people that were a part of the Houston Oilers moved to the Tennessee Titans. It's not like that our team just was up and out after one season there, right? We weren't just up and out and then left all the players behind, right? We moved from Houston to Tennessee with the exact same roster, exact same coaching staff. Nothing changed whenever it came to that, right? Like man, it's just frustrating. But no, side rants aside, these jerseys are really nice. I mean, obviously I just said as long as it has the light blue and the red in it, I'm a happy man, right? But I am especially happy because of the fact that all of those crappy AI leaks and all that stuff were so far off the mark that it was honestly kind of laughable. And I really appreciated that. So, yeah, I mean, the colors are really nice. Overall, really excited to see it next season. That logo I still got to get sold on. Not because of the oversimplification, because everybody's like, oversimplification is ruining my sport. Here's the thing, right? I get it. Okay, the logo was a little oversimplified, right? But come on, the Flames were goofy as heck. Like those things did not look good. Like, look, if you want to complain about oversimplification with teams like the Timberwolves or the Orlando Magic or any of those guys, those are NBA teams, but let me try and think of an NFL team that oversimplified. Hold on. I can't really think specifically of an NFL team that oversimplified, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, if you want to complain about those guys, that's fine. Don't complain about the Titans' oversimplification. Nobody thought the Flame looked good. Anyway, going into the actual ranking, though, after saying, yeah, I mean, the jerseys are really good, the honorable mention I have on here is Tony Adams because he is very quality depth, and you may know him because he had that big pick against the Eagles that basically sealed the game for the Jets and made people think, wait, are the Jets with Zach Wilson going to end up all right? They didn't. Spoiler alert. I mean, for obvious reasons, it's Zach Wilson. But, it was just nice to see that signing, and it just was kind of interesting. Also, the Solomon Thomas trade was it's not like I'm just like, woo, yeah, Solomon Thomas, woo! But, I'm also not like, oh, this is terrible, right? Like, it's a fine depth signing. That's really all that it is, right? It is depth. That's it. So again, just honorable mention to Tony Adams. He's going to be quality depth, and he could sometimes come in to be a nice little hawk on the ball. Like he's not gonna be some amazing tackler. I mean, he missed a lot of tackles during his time with the Jets, but he is going to do some fine things as a backup. So I like it. Put him in passing situations. I think he's fine. All right, getting into the actual list. Number 9, I have Jake Martin, outside linebacker. He is the most fine signing. Like, is he going to probably end up being more so depth? Yeah, I mean, I think he will be Jermaine Johnson's backup come week 1, but he is very, very high, but he is very, very solid depth. I mean, 5.5 sacks last year for a depth guy I'll take that all day. And that's why Jalen Harrell still has a job here, is because he wasn't like, he didn't explode or anything, but he had like 5 sacks last year and was a fine rotational piece. And it was a young dude who we really like. So again, like, it's not going to be permanent. It's not going to be a permanent thing if he starts, truthfully. Like, he may start because maybe they don't trust in Femi Oladejo to start out the season, and they want to develop him a little bit more before he just goes full on, like full on amazing or anything. So I don't know. Like, I think that's fine. It's the most C hire I think I have ever seen. It's the most C grade for a player signing that I think I have ever seen, because, again, it's not going to move the wheel too much, but it will be all right. All right, coming in at number 8 with a very stark contrast with it is Mitchell Trubisky. Okay, here's the thing, right? I liked this signing whenever I first saw it, but I hated it at the same time. I liked it because, yeah, it's a good signing. Mitch Trubisky is a solid backup. But I hated it at the same time because it was the first signing that the Titans made. Like, I was just like, really? That's the first guy that we make a move on? We were dead asleep for the first hour. But then I see across my watch, Tennessee Titans are finalizing a deal. I'm just like, ooh, is it finally going to be, Wan'Dale Robinson? What if it's one of the defensive backs, or it's John Franklin Myers? No, I look on it and it says Tennessee Titans are finalizing a deal with Mitch Trubisky. My friends gave me a really hard time for it because, they are not Titans fans, or at least some of them aren't. Or if they are in a complete state of pessimism and sound more like Jared Stillman and Buck Rising than Teron Davenport and Jim Wyatt, if you will. Like, just to put it in terms of Titans fans. So, again, quality backup, right? He is a dude that will come into a game and will be a fine game manager. He's not going to win you a game, obviously, but he's not going to completely lose you a game. Sometimes he may get a little over conservative and that could kill it, but he's mobile. He has a fine enough arm, and just overall, like, again, fine quality backup, right? And he knows the type of pressure that Cam Ward is under. Top pick in the NFL draft to a franchise that desperately has wanted a franchise quarterback and will pay anything just to get that. And, and was obviously controversial at the time, right? Like, this was something that was intriguing to me, that Cam is under a lot of pressure as that pick. Maybe Mitch Trubisky can share in that experience and maybe give him some guidance through it about, like, hey, this is what I would have done better. This is what you shouldn't do, which would be most of it. Most of it would be what you shouldn't do, and some of it would be what you should do, right? Like, I think that's solid. And also, he knows the Brian Daboll system. He came in 1 year with Brian Daboll right before he took the Giants job and was their backup quarterback there before he got that second chance with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Think about that. Brian Daboll made Mitch Trubisky look good enough to the point where the Steelers were like, you know what? Maybe that dude does deserve a second chance. Spoiler alert, he didn't. But again, like, he's a fine backup. There's no other way to put it, right? I'm happy to have him on the team, but he's at number 8. Why? Because of the fact that he will not do anything, most likely, unless Cam Ward just tears his ACL in half, which that would be the most heartbreaking thing I think I could think of going for the Titans this season. But again, if that did happen, or he got a serious injury of some sorts, then Mitch Trubisky would probably step in and would do fine. So, again, fine signing, just a backup. All right, at number 7, can't put this guy too much higher for obvious reasons, although I did consider putting him over the next dude. Number 7 is Tommy Townsend. He's the punter that came from the Houston Texans. And here's the thing, right? If we're going to talk about, like, quality of the position for a free agent whenever it comes to who the Titans signed, this would maybe genuinely be top 3. Like, this dude is actually very good at what he does. He was by far the best punter in free agency that wasn't expected to re-sign with the team that he went to. But, like, he's a intense upgrade over Johnny Hekker, right? Like, I think that a lot of people would probably have been an upgrade over Hekker. No offense to him. He was a fine punter, but like he's not what he used to be. We'll just put it that way, right? And he's got great hair. And here's the thing, right? He will be the best punter that we've had since Rookie Stonehouse. I have zero doubt about that, because like year 2 Stonehouse wasn't really that great. Then Johnny Hekker 1 year was fine and just kind of meh. Like, he's the Tim Kelly of punters. Just, he's a fine guy, but he's not really amazing. So again, like, he will be a very good punter for this team, and overall really solid signing. There's not too much to say about it because, well, he's the punter, so like he's got some good power to him. But like, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Kansas City kept him around for a long time, right? So obviously that should be implications towards something else. So overall, solid. All right, at number 6, I have Daniel Bellinger, the tight end from the New York Giants. Look, okay, I know that he's not the starter, but he is the starter for his job, like as in what he's going to do. Whenever the passing situations come through, it's going to be Gunnar Helms Day, right? But whenever we need like an extra blocker of some sorts, you know what's going to happen? You know who's going to be in there? Daniel Bellinger. That is going to be what this is. He is a very solid blocker. He's not like incredible or anything. Like, most of his PFF grades ranked like middle of the road ish, but he is a significantly better blocker than anything the Titans have had probably in a while, at least as a tight end, right? Because ever since Delaney left, I mean, like, I guess Jonnu was a fine blocker, but I don't know. I thought he was more of a receiving talent, if you will. And then after that, it was Chig, who I love Chig, not a good blocking tight end. Same thing goes for Josh Wiley. Wesco was not a good tight end blocking wise. Same thing with Swain. Like, look, there was not a good blocking tight end for a very long time, even in our last truly great year as an organization. Like, it's never been that great. So it's nice to have another great blocker. Also, I like him as a safety blanket for Cam, because even though he is primarily a blocker, he can go in there, he can run like a short little curl route or something like that, or a short little out route, and be some very soft hands for Cam Ward. If nothing's open down the field, he can just give it to Daniel Bellinger, get a completion, get a couple of yards. Now, is he going to do anything with the ball? Probably not, but he is going to at least advance up the field, maybe a little bit, but it's not like he's going to make a dude miss and just, go airborne or anything like that. That is Gunnar Helms' jobs. Again, like, also, he knows Daboll's offense. That is probably the biggest thing about this, is that, as a tight end, whenever you got to block and you got to receive, you got to probably be pretty smart about the game of football. So that will be very helpful, having a smart dude in the building to help and teach the offense that Brian Daboll runs to other people and be like, hey, this is what's happening. And I don't understand why people criticize that idea, honestly. But again, they're always going to criticize us. We're a small market. Like, no matter what we do, we are going to get criticized for something. And then whenever we do something great, it's probably not going to amount to too much. But hopefully this era will change that thing. I mean, I thought it was going to change just with Callahan. That how hard I went in the paint about how awesome Callahan was going to be is genuinely the worst take I've ever made on this podcast. I just want y'all to know that. Like, I've made some pretty bad takes, all things considered. Like, I really went into the Will Levis basket, but let's be real. Everybody was a believer in Will Levis that offseason. At least most fans that weren't trying to find something to be negative about, they were all in on Levis. Brian Callahan was a very divisive figure whenever he got hired. Even looking back, it's just like, why did we hire that dude again? I mean, again, he just, like, you get it, right? That's the worst take I've ever made about how awesome Callahan was going to be. But anyway, side, I don't know why that rant came from me, but, like, I just remember, like, it just being upset about that. But anyway, like, overall, going back to Daniel Bellinger, he's a very good signing. He's going to help with the offense and all of that. All right, now we get into the number 5 spot. This is the one trade on the list. And everything here down, this is whenever the stuff gets really good. But I am going to play devil's advocate a little bit because I have a couple of more criticisms about these dudes than I do than I do somebody like a Mitch Trubisky or Tommy Townsend because, like, again, they're good at their jobs. They don't really, well, okay, punters do a lot, but like Mitch Trubisky and Daniel Bellinger are only asked to really do one thing, and they do that thing fine. And then, like, that's really about it, right? So, okay, coming in at number 5 is Jermaine Johnson, the second defensive lineman out of New York. Now, obviously, you've heard my thoughts about the trade itself. If you have been watching consistently over the past couple of weeks, you know how I feel about the trade behind this. The trade was really good. Now, this, on the other hand, it was fine, right? But it wasn't like, well, okay, not fine. This was pretty good, okay? Like, I really like Jermaine Johnson. He knows the solid defense. And the biggest thing for me is that whenever he was with Saleh, he was pretty good. Like, it wasn't like he was putting up, like, double-digit sacks or anything. But I think that's what this year was supposed to be. And then he just got an absolute doofus of a head coach in Aaron Glenn, which, like, look, okay, he seems like a really good Christian man, but it doesn't work for him as head coach. Sorry, Jets fans. But, like, I don't know, right? Like, he knows the defense again. And again, like, I feel like this would have been his big breakout year if it wasn't for the whole Jets situation. And whenever he was even with Saleh, like, he got close to double-digit sacks and was always kind of a reliable threat on the edge. So I think that with a little bit more strength and maturity, and also he's all in on the Titans. That's been my favorite thing about the signing, is that he is very in love with Nashville. Not the place, but just like the concept of it, like the people, the stadium, like that type of stuff. Like, he already is making an impact amongst fans that already really like him, right? So again, like, I really like this, but I am curious, what if he isn't really good enough? What if the peak that he had under Saleh is the peak that he has in general? Like, what if he was a dude that just can't get to those double-digit sack seasons? I would be fine with that if we were able to get like a really great edge at some point, and whether it's in this year's or next year's draft. I think that would be amazing. But no idea if that is actually going to happen. So again, like, this is a very good signing, a very good trade / signing, all things considered. But there are obviously a couple of worries, and that's why I'm leaving it at number 5, because until he has that double-digit sack season, I just don't know what's going to happen with him. Okay, coming in at number 4, we have Wan'Dale Robinson. This one's a little controversial because I know that there are probably going to be people that think I should have had him in the top 3 at number 2. Heck, maybe even some people will try and argue with me that I should have him at number 1. So that, I say, you're a little delusional. But my explanation behind this is, first off, I'm just going to say the negative first, is that he may be the biggest boom or bust out of all of these prospects, all things considered. Like, I know Mitch Trubisky's going to be a fine backup. I know Tommy Townsend's going to be a great punter. I know Daniel Bellinger is going to be a good blocker. No matter how bad things get, I know that these guys are going to be all right. And I can even say the same with the top 3. Like, I know this dude is going to be like good at this and like all of that stuff. I know that they're going to be good. I don't know if Wan'Dale Robinson is going to keep that production that he had last year. Now, do I think that he still can be very good? I mean, yes, I've seen him in a Daboll offense. He does well. But the question is, did he stat pad? Was he kind of a dude that benefited off of the fact that the team around him was so bad that he was the one receiver that could actually get any work in, right? So it's just like, it's weird to me. I'm curious to see what happens with that. And he's also like 5'8". So, like, you know, if he can't get separation, then like he's not going to be amazing or anything, right? So again, but here's the thing, right? Who cares about that whenever he's just really fun? Like, he is elusive, he's slippery, he's fast. Like, he is a fun player, right? Now, would I have rather paid Alec Pierce? Yeah, sure, but I think that almost everybody would have rather paid Alec Pierce. Let's be true. So, again, I think that he's a fun receiver. I like that he's a weapon for Ward. And he ranks this high because of the fact I'm giving him an A- in an article I'm working on. He is an A- for me because of the fact that he is truly, like, he is an attempt by the Titans front office to get Cam Ward a reliable weapon. And I love that about him. So again, really solid signing, but again, his floor is absolutely ridiculous. But his ceiling is a consistent 1,000-yard receiver, and I would absolutely love that, right? So again, I like Wan'Dale. Going into number 3, I have Alontae Taylor. Y'all have no idea how hard it was for me not to overlook my biases for the Coffee County community and Manchester, Tennessee. You have zero clue how much I wanted to put this dude at number 2, or heck, even number 1. I would have loved to say this is the best signing in free agency, but for the life of me, I can't do it, man. Because here's the thing. He's versatile. He's solid. He can play safety. He can play slot corner. I'm pretty sure that he would hold his own on the outside. But dang it, he's getting paid so much. 3 years, $60 million is a lot of money. Like, look, I love Alontae Taylor as much as the next guy, and whatever it took to get him here, I would be happy with this. But I don't know, man. Like, I feel like that's just a little bit of an overpay, and then that's it. Like, look, okay, if he was paid like 3 years, $45 million, I would have him at number 2. But since he is getting paid like he is, I can't rightfully do that, okay? But again, like I was saying, he is a very versatile defensive back. He's just really solid in general. And here's something interesting. I think he's going to help Cam in his own unique way. Unlike Wan'Dale Robinson or Daniel Bellinger, where that's going to be direct help, I think there's indirect help with Alontae Taylor. Remember that Saints-Titans game back in week 16, was it, or was it 17? I can't remember. I think it was week 17. Yeah, it was week 17. But like, whenever it was week 17, we saw Cam Ward absolutely light up that Saints defense at first, right? He was playing solid. We were like, oh, yeah, this is Cam's big game where everybody's finally going to recognize what he is. Now, obviously, people still look at that game and are like, oh, yeah, that was a great duel between quarterbacks, right? But here's the thing. Alontae Taylor had that dude's number that day. Like, especially in the second half of that game, like, he just consistently was able to get in the way of Cam's passes, knew exactly what he was going to do, just knew everything that you could possibly think of. Like, he knew what Cam Ward was probably going to eat for breakfast the next morning. Like, I'm telling you, that dude was ridiculous whenever it came to how he defended Cam Ward. He almost picked him off 3 times, but again, like, and I think that will help in the sense that now that he's on the same team as Cam, he could be like, hey, look, these are the things I noticed about you, how you can make them a little bit more subtle, and like how to not be as much of a dead giveaway whenever it comes to some of the stuff that you do, right? So again, like, I like the Alontae signing, just a little bit of an overpay. This would have been number 2 if I didn't feel like that they overpaid a little bit. At number 2, I have Cordell Flott. I think that's how you pronounce that name. Give me 1 second. I'm going to look up. Yeah, Cordell Flott. I just want to make sure that it wasn't like Codell or something like that. So again, I like Cordell Flott, just all things considered. I think that he is a very good defensive back. He's very young. Like, you rarely see a 24-year-old cornerback be a free agent, right? And I really like the idea that he was wanted by the Giants. John Harbaugh saw something in him that he was just like, yeah, we need to bring that dude back. The deal was done, like nearly the closest they can get to pen and paper. But then the Titans called him up and said, look, we really want you, and here's why. And they gave him, this is what the plan is for you with Robert Saleh and everybody. And then right whenever that happened, he was just like, well, shoot, man. I think I just might go to the Tennessee Titans, which should show you the strength of a Robert Saleh scheme defense, but that's not the point, right? So this dude will operate as an outside corner, will probably most of the time guard a team's wide receiver 2 while Alontae guards the wide receiver 1. Again, Alontae's a better player. It's just that I think they overpaid a little bit. I think that they got Cordell Flott at the right contract, and I think that he is a very solid young player, and I think he is going to continue to shine with the Titans. So again, I like Cordell Flott. There's not too much else to say. He's a good young defensive back that was desperately needed by this team. Okay, at number 1, if you can tell by process of elimination for important signings, you can probably guess who this is. And at number 1, I have John Franklin Myers. Now, unlike from like about 5-2, I don't have any complaints about this. Really. Like, this dude is a phenomenal football player. He very balanced whenever it comes to his run stopping and his pass ability. Like, he can get to the quarterback pretty solidly, especially for a defensive tackle, but he is also an amazing run stuffer, right? And this makes me excited about the defensive line. I mean, you already got Jeffrey Simmons, who had 11 sacks last year. No need to disrespect the man. Then I had John Franklin Myers, who, again, 7.5 sacks. That was the third most out of any defensive tackle in the league. And then you have Jermaine Johnson on the other side, who has already been solid throughout his career. Imagine what he's going to be able to do now that he probably has like 5 more, like, that he probably has a lot more one-on-ones per game than he probably did whenever he was with the Jets. And then Femi, like, that may lead to Femi having some decent moments this year and maybe building up that confidence, developing, that type of stuff. Like, I love the John Franklin Myers signing, not just because of the fit that comes with it, but also just in general, he is such a good football player, and I absolutely love this signing. But anyway, that is it for me. I know that I was probably a little under the weather for this, but hey, here's the thing, right? I really enjoyed recording this episode. I hope that y'all enjoyed it too. I have Instagram and Twitter under the Titans Rundown if you want to go check those out. I'm currently working on an article on Music City Miracles about every free agent signing. It'll be similar to this, but I'll have a letter grade beside it. Again, I hope that y'all can check that out as well. And I go a little bit more in depth with the players themselves than just, they're really good and they're young and all that stuff. So anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.